The way we consume media today has created a phenomenon known as temporal narcissism, where people believe their current moral framework is the only correct one.
That's not true. People have always judged the past by their current standards.
But now it's different, with streaming platforms and algorithmic feeds constantly reinforcing our existing beliefs and never challenging us to think about how future generations might view our actions.
So you're saying that's a bad thing, that we should be more open to changing our minds?
Exactly. Because when we're only exposed to information that confirms our biases, we become unable to imagine that our morals and ethics could ever be wrong, or that future generations might look back on us with the same disgust we look back on past generations.
But isn't that just progress? That we're getting better and more enlightened over time?
That's a nice story to tell ourselves, but the truth is that every generation thinks they're the most enlightened, and that they're the final word on morality, and that's just not true.
So what's the harm in believing that our current moral framework is the best one?
The harm is that it makes us complacent, and it prevents us from considering the possibility that we might be wrong, and that future generations might judge us harshly for our actions.
Like what? Give me an example.
Well, think about something like factory farming, or the use of fossil fuels, or even the way we treat mental health. These are all things that we might look back on in the future and say, how could they have been so blind?
But we're making progress on those issues. We're getting better.
Maybe, but the point is that we're not considering the possibility that there are other issues that we're not even thinking about, that future generations will look back on and say, how could they have been so ignorant?
That's a pretty bleak view of human history.
It's not bleak, it's just realistic. And it's only by acknowledging the possibility that we might be wrong that we can start to make real progress and consider the potential consequences of our actions.
And you think that streaming platforms and algorithmic feeds are the main cause of this problem?
They're a big part of it, yes, because they create this echo chamber effect, where we're only exposed to information that confirms our existing beliefs, and we're not challenged to think about alternative perspectives.
So what's the solution? How do we break out of this temporal narcissism?
We need to start seeking out diverse perspectives and challenging ourselves to think about how our actions might be viewed in the future, and we need to be willing to change our minds and consider the possibility that we might be wrong.